Good morning, everyone. My name is Vladas Krivikas. I'm a marketing director with RealtyProx and National Closing Center, and welcome to our webinar. My apologies for a slight delay. We had some technical problems at the beginning of the webinar, but I believe everything is fine right now. I hope you can hear me. Since I have quite a few of you guys on this webinar today, just as a reminder, I have everyone on mute. Your microphones are muted. However, I'll be taking questions if you have any, and you can actually start typing your questions even right now in your questions panel on your GoToMeeting dashboard, so you don't have to wait until we're done with this presentation. However, I'll be taking questions at the end of this presentation, just sort of for the sake of everyone's convenience. So again, thank you very much for making time for this webinar. Thank you very much for spending your time with RealtyProx and National Closing Center. And today our webinar is called RealtyProx 101. And so it's going to be a little bit about RealtyProx, National Closing Center, and a little bit about marketing. Just so you know, we have 3 types of webinars. You can go to realtyprox.com/webinars, and so you can see different types of webinars that we offer. So this one is general introductory webinar about what RealtyProx is about, how you can benefit from RealtyProx and from the RealtyProx network, and speak a little bit about marketing in 2014. So without further ado, let's just get started with our presentation today. Just a little bit about RealtyProx for those of you who are new and never heard of RealtyProx before. RealtyProx is a real estate transaction management and short sale processing platform. So in other words, it's a piece of software that happens to run on the cloud, online, and is accessible from any computer, desktop computer, laptop or tablet, or even your smartphone. It's not an app, but it's tailored to work with all kinds of devices, and has been tested, and we've been around for over 5 years, and thousands of real estate agents are using RealtyProx as the transaction management platform and transacting from various places, their offices, their home offices, on the road, and even on the beach. RealtyProx streamlines the process by connecting all the parties involved in the short sale transaction. So as of today, RealtyProx is mainly for short sale transaction processing, and RealtyProx provides real estate professionals with lead management, marketing, offer submission, and other tools. National Closing Center. We cannot talk about RealtyProx and forget National Closing Center. National Closing Center. These are 2 sister companies. And National Closing Center is a short sale processing company which is affiliated with attorneys and title escrow companies nationwide. The easiest way to understand the role of National Closing Center and RealtyProx is to think of RealtyProx as a technology platform and National Closing Center as a physical processing center. What we've seen in the past few years, there's a lot of companies that have either one, either technology or processing center. So the fact that RealtyProx is a technology company, transaction management platform, and National Closing Center is a processing center, and these are sister companies, it really makes us one-stop shop when it comes to short sale processing services and outsourcing. Why choose NCC? Obviously, it's a good question. Probably all of you who are new and just listening to those webinars for the first time, it's a legitimate question to ask. Mainly, we take away the short sale aspect of short sales, making them as simple as traditional equity sales. That's the major purpose of National Closing Center. Short sales are not rocket science. By now, I hope pretty much any real estate agent can do a short sale. Now we have a very different landscape than we did 5 or 6 years ago when short sales were pretty much a novelty. Not anymore. So we're not saying that real estate agents cannot do a short sale. What we're saying is that they probably shouldn't If you have more than one random short sale, if you're serious about working this niche, having somebody to rely on when it comes to processing, it just makes sense. Because ultimately, succeeding in short sale market is pretty much being a good marketer. So you have to spend a lot of time being in the field, talking to people, educating homeowners, forgetting about sales, just being an educator. And so if you spend all your time or most of your active daytime talking to homeowners, you don't want extra burden of actually processing, negotiating, talking to the bank, keeping up with all the changes, new banks, new intermediaries. Now we know a lot of lenders and investors are using intermediary companies, processing companies, meaning processing companies on the bank side and so on and so forth. So having somebody who can take care of these issues and follow up and kind of keep everybody together, it's important in our opinion, and that's why NCC and RealtyProx are here for you. I usually show this just so you understand our philosophy. In our understanding, listing agent is at the center of the transaction, of the short sale transaction, and then everybody else, whether they want this or not, are kind of looking up to a listing agent and calling them, asking questions. So normally listing agent kind of is a point of contact in a short sale transaction. So in a sense, we want to slightly change it. Now, we're not saying that we're going to eliminate listing agent or keep them in the dark or push them aside. What we want to do is to kind of take over some of the roles and some of the responsibilities of the listing agent. So this way, the listing agent is in the command seat. They know everything that's going on. They can intervene if they want to. But if everything is going on smoothly, they can just watch and do other things like marketing instead of doing all the hard, tedious clerical work. So on the left-hand side, you see you, meaning the listing agent, and on the right hand, you see NCC, National Closing Center. So these are just the basic bullet points, responsibilities in terms of how everything works here. So normally in a typical short sale transaction, you provide basic information about the property and borrower and show up at the closing. Obviously, in the real world, things are a little bit more complicated than in the PowerPoint slide, but that's the ideal model. And on the right-hand side, on the right column, you see National Closing Center that is going to collect and audit the documents, order a BPO. That's an extra perk of working with National Closing Center. Regardless of whether you're going to do your own CMA or BPO, National Closing Center is going to order a BPO on every property that comes into our system, and NCC pays for that BPO. So this way we are always in the know. We know exactly what the fair market value is, and then we can negotiate with the bank and counter the BPOs if we deem them inaccurate. It's a hard work. It's a lot of work, but it's always worth trying, and more often than not, we succeed. And again, a lot of times, our BPOs and banks' BPOs match, but it's also important that the seller's understanding of how much the property is worth, even though in a short sale they don't really care, but especially in this market. But still, we always want to make sure that the property is priced right. And mostly because, banks are becoming a little more fussy. They want a real fair market value, and these days they won't settle for something too less. They want, again, there's no way around it. They want fair market value. So again, BPO is our strong suit, negotiations is our strong suit, and that's what we do for real estate agents. In additional states like Illinois or New York, we recommend an attorney. We have a network of attorneys that we usually work with, and they understand the short sale process. They understand our process. They use our tools. They use RealtyProx, and so we strongly recommend our attorneys, and then most of the time sellers choose our attorneys, and it results in a smoother and quicker transaction and painless transaction for all the parties involved. NCC also orders title, follows up with lenders, provides thorough status updates, obtains short sale approval, and coordinates the closing. And recently we've been doing a lot of closing coordination, just because, again, there are so many parties involved in a short sale, and somebody has to kind of take an ownership of it and make sure all the parts are moving smoothly. So again, NCC, that's what we do here. For those of you who are new to RealtyProx, I encourage you to go and create your free account. Go to RealtyProx.com and create your account. And welcome home. You can customize your homepage a little bit. You can upload your picture. You can interact with your dashboard. You can send messages. Again, for those of you who need more in-depth training on RealtyProx itself, on Thursdays, I believe 1 p.m. Central Time. So it's like 11, I believe. Well, yeah, it's 11 a.m. Central Time. I'm sorry, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And Esther Wilson conducts a thorough training of the platform, of the RealtyProx platform. Again, you can always go to RealtyProx.com/webinars and pick one of the active webinars and register for the upcoming one, or whichever date works for you. So this is your homepage. If you're going to work with RealtyProx and National Closing Center, you will be using that. Again, short sale leads or data, whatever you call it, we got it. Obviously, good data is important, and you need to use all the resources possible if you intend to work with short sales. Good data is important. So again, we're not saying discontinue using all the other sources, whether it's RealtyTrack or there's all the new companies popping up and offering data, short sale data. So use that, but also don't forget that RealtyProx offers free short sale leads. It doesn't cost you anything. And again, just very quickly, I want to define lead in our world. This is not the same as lead coming from a bank. We haven't pre-screened that homeowner in a sense that we haven't spoken to that homeowner, so they're not expecting you. If you want service like that pretty much the homeowner is expecting you. If you want someone else to schedule appointments for you, you should definitely check out Lee Hanish's Monster program, which is not free, but it's a solid program that thousands of real estate agents have been using nationwide. And again, Lee does every second Tuesday. So this Tuesday is my webinar, and second upcoming Tuesday in a week is Lee's webinar called Marketing Tuesdays with Lee Hanish. Again, check it out. Go to realtyprox.com/webinars and register for Lee's webinar so you can learn more about his system. So I just want to clarify this, that our leads are raw leads. They're not pre-screened, and we don't offer any extra services like sort of a sales pitch or listing appointments. But there are programs like Lee Hanish's that do that, and I encourage you to check them out as well. But what our leads are, they are raw leads. What we do is when you request a lead through our portal, we will see what we have in your area. And again, the way we get our leads are from the same sources as any other data company gets them. What we do, we make sure that at the time of assigning the lead, the homeowner has not listed the property yet. Again, things move quickly and change quickly in this market and in this industry in general. So sometimes by the time we assign it to you, other agents have already listed that property. But we do our best to make sure that we're not assigning you somebody else's listing. We know that that homeowner is late. The property is most likely underwater, and short sale seems like would be a good option. We would also provide you with an MLS sheet, a snapshot of the property history and their name. We don't have the phone numbers. We don't have the emails. So this is up to you to use whatever tools you want, whatever tools you prefer. Could be Spokeo.com. There's other websites that offer option to at least get somebody's landline if they have it. And again, you can use marketing systems like Lee Hanish's Monster to get somebody's email addresses and to give permission to go to their home and talk to them and do your presentation. So again, we think that these homeowners are good candidates for short sales. We assign them, and at that point it's up to you to kind of figure out what the best marketing strategy is. And again, this is free. There is no upsell. There's no different levels. There's no free levels, paid levels. If you are a registered RealtyProx member and you request leads, we'll do our best to find them in your area. If you don't like the lead, you can always reject it. There's no strings attached. If you do like the lead, if you work it and you close it, it turns out to be a short sale, all we ask in return is to go back to RealtyProx and request a processor and use National Closing Center as your preferred short sale processing company. That's all we ask in return. And again, if you are rejecting a lead, make sure you write a note to a lead manager as to why you're rejecting the lead, because again, we know you have different preferences. Some of you are willing to drive further. Others are not so much willing to drive further. Some of you don't like condos. Others almost prefer condos. It just, there's so many criteria. Real estate agents are independent people. They have their own the ways they work. So again, we're not able to guess what exactly you prefer. All we know is your preferred zip codes. That's all. So again, no hard feelings. If you don't like the lead, don't take it. Just click reject and make sure you leave a brief note to the lead manager. One sentence: I don't like condos, or this property is too cheap, or this property is already listed. Whatever happens, just let us know. So this is about leads, and again, if you need more information, you can always give us a call or email us, or even go to RealtyProx.com/videos and find some of the recorded webinars and other resources where we actually, I believe there's one under how to that speaks specifically about how to request leads, shows the whole process on screen, and it also describes more in depth as to what our lead program is about, limitations, expectations, all of that. So I mean, I could devote the entire webinar for our lead program only, but I don't want to do this today. But you can go back and actually watch whenever it's convenient for you our previous webinars and how-to videos pertaining to leads, and kind of get more information about how this works. Now the second part of this webinar, I did this before, but we got a lot of positive feedback, and so we want to repeat the second part. It's Content Marketing 2014, and it's all about marketing, how to get more business, and how to manage your expectations when it comes to your online marketing and content marketing. So first of all, what is content marketing for those of you who are not 100% sure? Content marketing's purpose is to attract and retain customers by consistently creating and curating relevant and valuable content with the intention of changing or enhancing consumer behavior. That's a pretty scientific definition, so I just wanted to put it up there. But what it really means is that we're posting something online, whether it's social media or your blogs or your news pages or whatever that is. We're posting some kind of content, and this is not necessarily original content. It could be content that you're referring to, that you're quoting to, that you're curating, and you're doing it in a creative manner. And the reason you're doing this, you want people to take action. You want people to, first of all, look up to you as to expert in your field, and you want people to contact you and list their properties with you, or whatever your goal is in whatever niche you're working. But today we're talking about real estate agents. So the importance, really the biggest takeaway when we're talking about content marketing and generally speaking, posting anything online, unless it's for pleasure or networking simply, you want to change consumers' behavior, and that's huge. In my experience, a lot of people, not just real estate agents, a lot of marketers in general, and really anyone who's selling something, they have to be a marketer. They're posting things without thinking that they're asking a lot from their audience. They're asking their audience to change their behavior. This is big. This is huge. It's a big task, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. That's all I'm trying to say here. Just posting something, it's not gonna get you anywhere. So you have to take this seriously, and you have to understand that you're asking people a lot. You're asking them to change their behavior, and instead of watching a movie or engaging with other Facebook content or doing whatever they do online, you want them to read whatever you have to say, and on top of it, you want them to contact you and buy your products or list properties with you. So it's just important to understand ramifications of this process. And it's a good idea to have an understanding of how much content is out there. 92,000 articles are posted on the World Wide Web each day, and they attract a lot of traffic. So 92,000 articles. People trying to say something to the audience, people trying to market something, people trying to educate other people. The above content produces over 1 billion of engaged minutes. So that's the content that's actually getting traffic, and that's a lot of minutes. And again, you can see more detailed statistics on the actual slide. So the idea is here not to overwhelm you with numbers, but just to give you an understanding of how much stuff there is online, and every marketer is trying to say something to the audience and convert their target audience. Again, a good idea is to know where your traffic is coming from. So far, 74% of traffic is coming from desktop, 26% from mobile. Again, those of you or other folks who are saying, desktops are dead, not exactly. A lot of people are still searching for things not on their phone, but from their desktops, and so just bear that in mind. You have to know your audience. If your audience is younger and they're doing everything on their phones, you have to focus your marketing efforts accordingly. If your market is younger or more educated or more affluent, you will have to do modifications to your website and make sure it's mobile friendly. You're probably going to have two completely different versions of your website, because just making a responsive design for real estate is not going to cut it, because you're going to lose a lot of bells and whistles when it comes to your desktop version of website. So again, not to get into website stuff too much, you need to know your audience, and again, if they're using mobile, you have to adapt to mobile. If all of them are coming, or majority of them coming from desktop, maybe you don't have to worry about mobile yet, but I doubt that this is the case when it comes to real estate. 50% of traffic comes from direct sources, 29% from social media, 14% from external, 7% from search. Again, you need to know your niche. If people are finding you online already from search, you have to focus your efforts on search. I'm assuming that for many realtors, a lot of traffic is still direct. So if you're getting a lot of direct traffic, you need to make sure you cultivate those real-life relationships and then leverage them with your online presence. So now what we're going to do for the rest of this webinar, before we get to the questions and we wrap things up, I'm just going to give you a few bullet points of what you should do in order to be successful with your content in 2014. So no more talking, and no more fancy definitions here, just bullet points. So first of all, know your traffic sources. I kind of described that already. and don't underestimate direct traffic. So exactly. Everything you do offline, everything you do in real networking, in educating homeowners, all that, metaphorically speaking, will come home to roost online. So whatever you do offline, no matter what, and these days, no matter age group, no matter education level, people will go home, and if they liked your presentation, if they liked conversation with you, they will go back home and they will Google you. If you are with established company or your company is known in your area, they will go Google you personally, and they will go Google your company. So again, if you're the bigger franchise, the company marketing part is kind of taken care of, but you do need to make yourself stand out. Again, being with a larger franchise is helpful because they create that bubble and that shield of notoriety. But then again, at the same time, people want to know that you're with a respectable company. At the same time, they want to know you. Who is this agent? How is this agent different from others? So again, not to get too much into online marketing stuff, you need to make sure you have your own web presence with your personality, with whoever you are online, because from offline world, they will go online, they'll Google you, period. No exceptions. Bullet point number 2, know your CSI, and no, it's not a crime scene investigation. CSI also stands for Content Saturation Index, and it shows how crowded your industry is. And I don't need to tell you that real estate industry is usually in the marketing world is quoted as super saturated. So in other words, there's a lot of people competing for limited amount of listings, throwing a lot of resources into it, and some of them spending insane amounts on marketing. I know some super successful real estate agents, brokers rather, are spending as much as $30,000 a month, $20,000 to $30,000 a month on online marketing only. So again, you can like it, you can hate it, but you can't ignore it. Bullet point number 3, you have to be realistic and ask hard questions. You can't do it all really these days. You might have to hire somebody who knows web stuff. You might have to hire somebody, whether part-time or on contract basis, who can do basic online presence. Don't delegate everything in terms of, especially when it comes to online content, it still has to be you. It has to reflect you. But you may want to delegate some of the tasks, especially technical ones, even writing and things like that. Control, but don't try to do everything yourself. Bullet point number 4, be a rebel. I know when I speak at some conferences or just talk to other real estate agents, a lot of you guys, and again, I'm sure some of you think I'm wrong, but a lot of you seem to be taught to be those really nice, super nice salespeople, and it doesn't always work in today's market. If you don't like the ways things are done in your industry, you need to say something. Some people may not like it, but you will get noticed. Again, you can disagree with me on this one, but in many other industries, and I believe real estate is not an exception, in order to be noticed in the noisy industry, sometimes you have to be a rebel. I don't want to name any names here, but if you look at some prominent real estate agents, not all of them are nice guys, so to speak. Some of them are rebels. Some of them are saying things that maybe establishment doesn't like, or maybe other real estate agents don't like, but they get noticed. So again, you don't need to be fake about it. You don't need to create controversies that are non-existent. But if you really feel that something is wrong in your neighborhood, in your niche, in your industry, in your industry practices or something, say something. People will be happy about it. They will commend you for that. I'm sure some people will. At the same time, others will disagree, but you will get some notoriety here. And bullet point number 5, it kind of flows with the bullet point number 4, but I still wanted to stress this separately: be authentic. If you wish to be a rebel, you must find your own voice. So again, if genuinely you are a nice person, and I'm sure all of you here are nice people, but you know what I'm talking about. Some of us, and this is not me, by the way. some of you guys and some people we know, they're genuinely sweet, nice folks, and that's fine. Then you need to make sure to find your voice and project that personality online. That nice, helpful guy or girl who always there for people. They're caring, they're loving. That's fine. That's a brand. But if you're a little bit, a little bit a brat, if you like to say things that you maybe regret sometimes, it's fine. You're not working for a big corporation. You're not sitting in a cubicle slaving for big international company that have so many rules about media policy, social media policy, and whatnot. You have to be ethical, of course, but again, if you don't like something, say something. And if you are this person offline, project exactly the same image online. Bullet point number 6, content is more than plain text. Just sort of a side note, a lot of us sometimes forget what content is, that it's a lot more than just text. Sometimes when I say content, people think it's it's Facebook post, it's a blog post, something written. Well, not necessarily, and then again, even if we're talking about written materials or text, there are different forms. So we have e-newsletters, we have case studies, videos, webinars, white papers, research reports, microsites, infographics. Infographics are insanely popular. So if you have some ideas about how to display something or convey something in your industry, infographics could be a great choice. Ebooks, mobile content, books, podcasts, mobile apps, digital magazines, print newsletters, games and gamification. In fact, I'm sure some of you not going to engage in this, but I hope others will. I believe, and again, my background is not in real estate, so I believe that there is still a lot of things to be achieved with games and gamification, and those real estate brokers and agents who will figure out how to make the process of buying and selling real estate on their website more fun. And I'm not just talking about usual maps and registering to learn more and simple things that are kind of necessities, but really who are going to spend some money to develop some games to engage users, especially younger users. And I believe that's the way to go. If you have resources and creativity, I would say definitely go for it and make the process of buying or even conveying information and tips as sort of a game. I'm sure you will be amazed as to the retention rate, because again, one of the biggest problems with content marketing is you may generate traffic, but how long people are going to stay on the website? What they're going to do with their website? How are they going to interact with your website? Are they just going to come and go, click and click through, or are they going to leave? These are important questions to ask yourself. So variety of content, if you can afford it, if you're creative and you have right people in your team, it's invaluable, really. So just think broader than just text and blogging. That's all. And bullet point number 7, and you guys are not going to like this one, but again, this is a harsh reality of being in this industry. You have to be prepared to open your wallet. I know you guys are already paying for everything and everywhere, and you may want to kind of look through and reevaluate your priorities. Maybe some things you're paying for are not necessities. However, for example, Facebook is pretty much refusing to display your business page posts in your user's timeline unless you pay. Again, there are ways around it. There are exceptions. If you're producing a super quality content that people are sharing, Facebook is kind of going to be forced by its own formula. They're going to be forced to show your content to more people. But for those of you who don't know it yet, if you have a Facebook company Facebook page, and you have, let's say, 500 or 1,500 likes, people who have liked your page and they kind of already expressed very publicly and openly a wish to engage with your page, just a tiny fraction, probably a few percent, under 10% people actually see your daily posts. Why? Because this is how Facebook operates now. If they deem your content to be not top quality, tip-top quality, they will show it only to certain people. People who usually engage with your content, some keyword-related stuff, and obviously proprietary algorithm. But what's going to happen, and that's true across all the industries, Facebook is not showing all the posts, all your page posts to all the users. Only a tiny fraction actually sees it. So no wonder that you post on Facebook, even if you're not just posting and reposting your listings, if you're actually dispensing some wisdom and giving some really good tips, that doesn't matter. In most cases, most of your, let's call them users or likers, they're not going to see your posts. And so the only way around it, besides creating better and better content, is to open your wallet and maybe spend $100 here and there on Facebook ads. You can boost your posts individually, so if you have something of really high value, you just came up with this new idea, you have a really hot tip for buyers or sellers or short sale candidates or whatever niche you specialize in, I would highly consider in your situation to boost that post, pay $5 or $10 or $20, and make sure it's promoted, and all your users and beyond them, all your users, all your likers and their friends see your post. So again, that's something you may agree or disagree, but these are realities of today's marketing, and it's important to keep that in mind, especially. And then again, it's really my personal opinion. If you're spending a lot of time on your content marketing efforts, and if it's not going anywhere, so it's better not to do anything, in my opinion, than to do something for the sake of doing. So that's why it's very, very important, and I should probably make a different bullet point, but I hadn't so far, that says measure and tweak. That is actually very, very important. So whatever you do, if you're paying for something, if you're paying Facebook, of course you have to religiously track all the metrics and see if it's bringing you a return on investment. It's a must. So whatever you're doing, if you're sending emails, if you're still sending postcards, if you're knocking on the doors, I hope you're not. If you are, you should talk to Lee Hanish. But whatever you're doing in real estate, you can't afford not to test it, split test it, measure it, and if it's not working, discontinue it. So the same with your content. If month and month and years and days over and over again, you're posting something, you're sharing, you're doing whatever you're doing on your blogs and your social media and elsewhere, and you're not getting enough results or no results at all, you're probably doing something wrong, and maybe you should invest your time in something else then. I know it's not the most popular approach. A lot of marketers would say, just keep doing it, but I believe that you have limited hours in a day, and so if you're really good at something else, if you're really good at old-fashioned selling, maybe you don't need all these things. But again, in most cases, you do need your online presence. You do need to be serious about your content marketing. Just don't forget to spend a little money on it, and spend time on it, and split test and measure it. So this is our today's presentation. I hope you guys got something valuable out of it. I know I have a very different crowd today. Sometimes we get our listeners, attendees from more of one source. Today we send emails and invitations to different sources, so I have people who are definitely new, they never heard of RealtyProx and National Closing Center, and I have folks who are RealtyProx users. So I still hope you got something out of this webinar, something useful. And again, if you're new, just go to RealtyProx.com and create your free account. It's free. There's no credit card required, no setup fees, no hidden fees, no upsell, just there's free account. Don't forget short sale processing service. It's not mandatory, of course. You can use RealtyProx and negotiate and process your own short sales and have your team work on them. But if you wish, you can send an occasional short sale to National Closing Center, or you can outsource all your processing to National Closing Center. It's all on deal-by-deal basis. So you can do one short sale today, initiate it today, and process it on your own, and you can start another short sale tomorrow in a week and outsource it to National Closing Center. So that's just one little thing to remember on how we operate. We try to give you as much flexibility and options as possible. Again, we also have private trainings by appointment. So for those of you who have a hot short sale or who are about to get a listing and this generic presentation wasn't enough, you actually want answers to your specific situations, you have questions about specific banks, you want to get started tomorrow and start pushing that short sale through the system and through the bank and closer to the closing. You don't need to wait for another generic webinar. You don't even have to wait for our RealtyProx training on Thursdays. All you have to do is call our REST team, Real Estate RealtyProx Educational Support Team at 888-830-8338, the number on the screen, or even better, email us at info@realtyprox.com, and we will schedule a private webinar, private training for you, so we can answer private questions, specific questions, and we can get you started. Especially, these webinars are especially useful if you actually have a short sale right now or you're about to sign a listing agreement. Otherwise, if you don't have a short sale at the moment, you might as well just attend one of our, what I call them, generic webinars. Depending on what information you need, you can attend one of mine. You can attend one of Lee Hanish's that specifically speaks about marketing and getting listings. All kinds of listings, by the way, not just short sales. Or you can attend a webinar with Estera Wilson on Thursdays, where she pretty much does a training, step-by-step training from initiation to closing as to how RealtyProx platform works and how it can benefit your business. Here you go. Our last slide is, don't forget, we're on Twitter, both National Closing Center and RealtyProx. Spend half a second, like us on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. If you have any specific questions for me, you can reach me at vladask@realtyprox.com. It's on the lower left hand side part of the slide. It's V as in Victor, LADASK@realtyprox.com. And right now, if you guys have any questions, it's a perfect time to type those questions and ask them. If you don't have any questions today, that's totally fine. I usually get some questions after the webinar, or our team in general does. We'll answer those personally. So we're going to give a minute or so to collect your questions, collect your thoughts, and ask the questions. And we stayed just under the hour today, so I'm very happy about that. I value your time. We try to value your time and always stay under an hour, especially with this type of webinars. Here you go. I have one question so far. Do you have Spanish-speaking processors? We do. I believe at the moment we have one Spanish-speaking processor. We used to have more, but yeah, we do. So make sure you call in and you ask for one. Right? I don't think there's any other questions. I kind of like that because you see, you guys still stayed. Most of you, about 98%, stayed through the entire webinar. You guys don't have any questions, so that's good. I hope that's good. Once again, you can contact us after the webinar. I hope you create your RealtyProx accounts, free accounts, and once you have a short sale, don't think about anybody else. Think about RealtyProx and National Closing Center. And just like with anything, the best way to try something is to actually try and use it and see how you like it. There's no any other way around. Other than that, thank you very much for spending almost an hour of your Tuesday. Thanks for being here, and thanks for using RealtyProx and National Closing Center. This concludes this webinar. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.